Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I'm back. Welcome to the Friday night chop session with Stormybman for this Friday, June 12th, 2020. And this is show number 66. We're calling it Return to the Ring. Huh? That's right. Boxing is back. And we are here to talk about it. Even though it's just getting going, there seems to be a lot to talk about. So hopefully we will get that chance to speak about what's happening, and hopefully they'll give us something that's happening to talk about in the future going forward. I want to say hello and good evening to everybody that's out there checking us out in the chat. We got people out there. We got Christopher Jornay is out there. My brother Christopher Jornay, you need to send me an email. Brother Drew Titan, he says Bronx on deck. Bruce Goes is out there. He says salute Stormybman family. Philip Carl Roberts is back again to cause some more trouble. And Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, my main man that's gonna be helping me out as soon as he gets himself together there. He's doing double duty. He says salute my peoples. Sir Big Head says I'm here. Start the show. All right. And Christopher Jornay is saluting at Drew. And Sir Big Head is having fantasies out there saying Ali looking like him right now. You know that's a lie, because ain't nobody said that they've seen Ali reincarnated out here on the streets. So that nigga lying. That's right. E. Woodson says, at Stormy B Man, salute Shy City OG and the whole chat family. That's right, E. Woodson, Chi-Town. Stand up, brother. Stand up. Yeah. And we got Scrapbook Boxing. My man is out there. He says, what's good, Stormy B Man in chat? What's good with you, Scrapbook man? And we got Philip Carl Roberts says, I watched Marius Wash and Kevin Johnson earlier. No real surprise. Why you do that to yourself, man? Huh? You know, you shouldn't go off on the deep end like that, man. You shouldn't do that to yourself. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. Those kind of fights like that, that ain't what we supposed to be returning to, man. Huh? That's called warming over yesterday's rice, man. You don't want to do that. You know what I mean? We want to see some mixing up. We want to see some matchups with those matches like that. They letting us know that they're going to keep on trying that game. And we ain't going for it. We ain't going for it. And don't give them no bullets, because they'll keep it. They'll keep trying you. You know what I'm saying? They will keep trying you. So don't do that to yourself. Don't disrespect the game. Don't let them disrespect the game. Demand to see better quality matchups when boxing fully returns. You know what I'm saying? Because they've had enough time to play and delay. And remember, and don't let those fighters make you forget that they was out here talking all that mess, Twitter fingers and everything. Everybody was going to get put down, and I'm knocking you out, and you just wait till this quarantine is over and all of that, right? They were talking. They were talking through the Twitter, through the social media, huh? Well, it's now time to get off the pot, huh? Because they ain't going to do it. They ain't going to do it. But you got to be ready for it, man. You got to be ready for everything. And we going to be ready for everything. We're calling this show this evening return to the ring. The thing about the return to the ring is this. Boxing has been on a break, which has given a good many of us an opportunity to review, recap, rethink the sport. Some things that have been halted, hopefully for good, like the zone, hopefully. You know, because there's stuff like that they thought that they were just going to milk it and milk it and milk it. Well, you know what? The tit ain't got no more milk in it. It's done, We got Curtis Anderson out there. He's saying that Stormybman in chat, salute 100. CMB is out there, says salute family. And Philip Carl Roberts says, the fight went as I expected. Both have solid chins, just a payday. I watched for free on YouTube. Ain't nothing free, man. Your time is more valuable, and you spent it watching that. You must come to the Stormybman channel and get recommendations of what to watch when it comes to boxing, so your time don't be wasted, brother. D. McGee is out there, says salute family. And Bruce Goes is saluting D. McGee. So yeah, the return to the ring. It opened up earlier this week when we saw hot young prospect featherweight, Shakur Stevenson. He came back. Returned to boxing. And you know what? Shakur looked good, man. He looked good. The guy that they matched him up with was a great matchup to showcase Shakur in an exciting manner. The funny thing about it, although he put Carabello out in the 6th round, he was able to work combinations and put his punches together and give us an assortment of looks, with body shots and everything. In fact, the fight was stopped with a shot to the body by Shakur. But I noticed something a little bit different about him, on this return to the ring. Shakur body has undergone a transition. Have you guys noticed that? What's up with that? He's still, 22? But body look a little more full and sturdy, We know he still got kid strength, but they've been working on the young man. Hopefully it's with the good stuff and not the bad stuff. And I'm not even trying to imply nothing negative, so don't y'all come at me with that mess. I'm just saying, I noticed the change. But through proper diet and you got the proper people around you, you can transform your body. Stormybman ain't trying to spend that money, though, to transform my body. My body is beautiful just the way it is, and I still got my money in the bank. I ain't paying, okay? When I go, I'm going to go looking like this. You understand? Besides, this is called Big Sexy, okay? If you don't know nothing about it, go look in the mirror. So that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we got Renee Box Young has joined us. He says, my guy Stormy, how you doing, King? I'm doing just fine. Renee Box Young, man, thank you for stopping by to the Friday night chop session. We out here and we gonna talk about it a little bit. Philip Carl Roberts says, I've been starved of live boxing recently. Cut me some slack. You get no slack, okay? Not on the Stormybman channel. Philip Carl Roberts, you get no slack, as in my Mickey voice from Rocky, I'm not cutting you no slack because you came at me kind of weird the other day on the stream. So I'm coming back at you. You thought Stormybman wasn't going to do that? Well, he did. I'm back. you know. But yeah, man, you know, Shakur, I guess you could say that was, you know, it was great to have him come out there and kick things off. You know, ESPN, that's what they do. You know, the farm system of boxing. You know, they can get the young guys going very well. They just don't keep them in house very long, because once guys begin to get that spotlight shine upon them, you know, Mr. Aram over there, he throws those coins around like they manhole covers, so he don't want to pay nobody. You know, people got to leave and go seek out, you know, the great frontier. So, hey, that's all right. Many others have done it before him. But for right now, Shakur, you know, with 14 matches under his belt, man, I think he's moving in a great way. He's got Andre Ward overseeing things, and he also has, you know, a friendship with Terrence Bud Crawford, who is a veteran and a pro and a champion in the sport, who could also, you know, show him some things. And I think that Shakur is in good hands. And by the way, shout out to Christopher Jornay for the PayPal donations. Appreciate you, brother. And like I said, you're going to have to send me an email because I want to talk to you. CMB 100 says, getting his grown man strength. It's going to take a little bit longer for him to get the grown man strength, but I'll tell you, he's looking grown man filled out. And I think that's due to the work and probably the vitamins and everything that they giving him. And like I said, I hope everything is natural and good, because there are ways to do it the right way. But he looked good, and he looked strong. He still looks fast, and he looked like he was hurting that guy when he was laying his hands on him, which is always a good thing. Caraballo came out in the first round looking to take the fight directly to Shakur, and that worked all for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, okay, until Shakur made an adjustment, and from there on, he became a walking punching bag, okay? And let's be real about it. This was not a fight for Shakur to come out and be going back and forth and in the trenches and all of that. It's a shakeout fight. In 6 rounds, I think is a good workout. He's been training, sparring and everything in the gym. And, you know, he got tired of hitting friends and familiar faces. So you go out there and you hit somebody that you're getting paid for. And you produce the results that he got. And everybody's happy. You go home, show off your dimples, and the girl's going to come. You understand? So, and that's probably what happened. But they did say he came out, his hand was a little stung, but he later came back and said his doctor said his hand was all right. His right hand, I think it was. But, yeah. So kicking boxing off like that, you know, the sport is back. And we're going to have more things to talk about with this. Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens says that fight yesterday was bull. Yes. Well, why'd you watch? You should have been watching the 3 Wise Men of Boxing. You see, Reggie, why you do that to yourself? I say it to you just like I said it to Philip Carl. You know, if you're going to watch that other stuff and waste your time, come to Stormybman. I'll give you something to watch. I can help you out with that, huh? Because right now, all they're going to do is push the Pintos and the damn, what they call them, the Fiats. They're going to push those out there. They ain't going to push the Deuce and the Quarters, huh? And the Eldorados out right now. They ain't going to do that. And for y'all that don't know what those are that I'm talking about, Google is your friend, okay? And you're young. And you just need to sit back and suck up this knowledge, and you'll learn something. That's right. Renee Boxion says that Curtis Anderson, I can't complain. Bless family, bro. I want to hit you up soon for another live. And Bruce Gold says that shovel to the solar plexus was a thing of beauty. Yeah, you know, and the guy was there for it. And let's not be dismayed, because this was a showcase again for Shakur. And I have no problem with that for the comeback fight. You know, I have no problem, because, like I said, it's a shakeout. Shake everything out. Get the cobwebs out. You know, they've been on quarantine. They ain't been able to see each other in the gym and everything. So getting ready for this was it's a great start. But let's get down to business, huh? That's what I want to see. Let's get down to business. I think Shakur Stevenson gonna be all right till he move up a couple weight classes, and there be some guys up there that's gonna be ready for him. And then he's gonna have to take that advance, that step toward being, you know, what his potential has ahead of him. So yeah. Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens says, I caught the show still. Yeah, okay, Reggie. You know, I got my eye on you, man. Got my eye on you. I know you caused some fights last night too. You know, but we missed you in class, brother. Yeah, you was absent, huh? We marked you absent, even though you said you was there. I saw like one comment. I think you left class early. But see, you're gonna get an F+ leaving class early. Cause, you know, the three wise men, they ain't wasting no time out there. They had some real gems for you. You know, talking about Sam Langford, huh? And the first wave of the Black Murderers Row. That's what it's all about. You know, and that's more than what you saw last night, huh? When you said it was bull. See, tune in to the show, catch the replay. You'll find some other gems happening with that. Curtis Anderson says, the more experience he gains, the better he will get. To be successful as a young fighter is not power, but being polished. Absolutely, Kurt. Well said. Listen to the sprinkles of gems coming out of the wise man. See? And Renee Box Young says, I would love to have you, Stormy, and Curtis on one of my lives, though. Yes, Renee Box Young. My talents are available, so we will discuss. Christopher Journay says, salute Reggie Owens. He's laughing. I'm glad to see you laughing, Christopher Journay. Glad to see you smiling and laughing out there, bro. And Bruce Gold says, at Renee Box Young, just sub to your channel. Yes, sir. You know, if there's family out here that got channels, please subscribe, you know, because I'm not upset about that. You know, we family. So Renee Box Young got a nice channel. If you guys haven't had a chance to go out there and subscribe to him, please do so. Also, Scrapbook Boxing is out there. He got his channel going. We got Drew Titan out there. He get his channel going. You know, so subscribe, support. You know, we're one linking chain here. So that's what it's all about, man. Get out here. I'm trying to go back and see, did I miss somebody that's got a channel out there? Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. My brother also, he's out there. He's calling these fights. He ain't going to stop. He's become a monster at calling the fights now. So you have to check him out. He's going to be calling live fights as well as the older fights. So there's going to be an equal mix up in there. And that's something that we all can really enjoy. You know what I mean? That's the way you do it. Seen and Unseen Boxing says, salute Stormybman and salute to the chat. What's good with you? CMB says, facts. And Renee Box Young says, likes up now to OG Stormy. Yes, sir, man. Get those likes up and get me some more subs out there. I know there's some people out there peeping through the blinds and everything. Don't be shy. Come on, step out into the light and sign and subscribe to the Stormybman channel. Hit the bell icon for, you know, the notifications and everything. Even though YouTube be on something sometimes and you don't get the notifications, just know that on Tuesdays I got the Tuesday Tussle. On Thursday, we got the Three Wise Men of Boxing. On Friday evenings, we got the Friday night chop session with Stormybman. And then on Saturdays, when we have people scheduled to appear, we have the In the Eye of the Storm, which is a show that features content creators and channel operators from the community out here. Big and small, we go through them all. You know what I mean? And we talk. And we talk about their channels. We talk about what's going on with them, their focus, their direction they're headed in. You know what I'm saying? So you strap in your seatbelt and you go for that ride that is In the Eye of the Storm. Now, I haven't done a Tuesday tussle in a couple of weeks, but that was by design. First week was out of respect for the fallen brother and soldier that was George Floyd. Out of respect for him, I just put a black screen up and in protest of what these nasty cops have done out here. And last week, the second week, this week rather, I was tired, man. You know, Stormy just didn't. And I could have put a notice up, but couldn't get with it this week, man. I had to recharge the batteries. That's why I'm out here talking now, because I had a little bit of rest. You know, an OG got to get his rest. You know, whether it's a nap or a sleep. But you get your rest, then you can come back and you can knock some young dude out. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it goes. We got, let's see. Renee Boxiana says, subscribe to the channels here for show. Family. Hashtag family. Yes, sir. Bruce Gold says, Ron Finkley has a nice one, too. Absolutely. If Ron Finkley, and he's missing from the chat right now, don't see Ronald Finkley. But for those of you who like to go and subscribe to Ronald Finkley, please do so. And Renee Boxian says, Stormy is loaded with content, though. Sub if y'all haven't. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. And you can share. You can share the Stormybman channel videos and live streams, because a lot of the content is worth listening to. You know, I may rib you a little bit from time to time, but I'm also going to try to make the presentations worth the time. So just remember that. Bruce Gold says, last night's show was a winner at Stormybman. Absolutely. I had to call my brothers today, Scrapbook Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and let them know that, man, they showed up and showed out, man. I'm telling you, they made it rain up in there, huh? With boxing knowledge. It was just coming down from the heavens. Wasn't that some good stuff, man? And did y'all catch that tune that was playing? Yeah, that was something else, too. The brothers was cooking, and I was out there absorbing, you know, like a sponge. That's right. Seen and Unseen Boxing says, salute to that OG. Facts. And Nitty G says, salute to the chat. What's going on, Nitty G? Good to see you, bro. You come in a little late, but that's all right. Grab a sheet, grab a chair, a seat, sit down, and chill with us, because we're going to talk about this. And also, remember to smash that like button, y'all. CMB100 says, absolutely. Thank you for that, bro. And Bruce Gold says, I learned a lot. So did I. And I'm sure that anyone who tuned in, matter of fact, message to Scrapbook Boxing out there listening, Curtis Anderson out there listening. I heard from Trick Nolte today. He wanted to salute you brothers for your efforts last night's show. He spoke to me today about how much he enjoyed it and how much knowledge was dropped introducing Sam Langford to his ears. And it wasn't that he had never heard of Sam Langford, but he was not versed on his place in the history annals of boxing, and the fact that you guys painted such a picture that he said that he has rearranged his top 10, you know, and is putting him up there within the first 4 of his top 10. So that's amazing that just based on the information that you guys were able to share last night, it produced an impact on someone like Trick Nolte, who we all know behind the scenes. Trick Nolte is just like us OGs, the boxing nerd. He loved this stuff, you know. And for him to absorb the information that was meted out last night's show, it was gratifying for him. And he just wanted to say he enjoyed your presentation very much, Scrapbook and Curtis Anderson. So salute to you brothers for that. And P Boxing has joined us. He says, salute to you, Stormybman. Salute to you, P Boxing. Tone Brown is out there. It says, salute family. CMB 100 says, it was fire. Yes, sir. And Renee Boxion says, prime time with Stormy. Yeah, man, I'm sitting up here in my studio. You like my little setup here, you know, Stormy B, man. Like, I'm waiting on Reggie. He taking his sweet time. You know, Reggie a diva. You know, he got to come in, you know, kick over something, like you make some noise and everything. Like, I'm here, you know. Yeah, that's Reggie. You know, I come in silent right behind the opening introduction, and I come in smiling, and I'm back, you know. But some people are divas, you know. That's what they do, you know. Did you guys like the new intro that before the show started? If you caught that when it went live, Stormy B Man got his little intro that plays in there. That was all designed by moi. So just tell me you like it, even if you don't, because I'm sensitive, you know. But yeah, man, this whole thing about boxing being back, I want to see all these dudes that's been tweeting and tweeting and tweeting. It's time for them now to see that it's time for them to go ahead and start signing some contracts, huh? We need to see these guys fighting each other. You know, Tyson Fury with the foolishness that's been going on with that guy, I really don't even care to talk about him, but he's in the news almost every other day with some more and more shenanigans. But, you know, the Tank Davises and those guys, Manny Pacquiao, what the devil's going on here? People talking about 160 or 150. Come on, man. No, Manny Pacquiao is a small fry who is on his way out the door to collect some Social Security checks. Huh? And there's a few dudes who want to mug this old man before he get down the block, you know, out the Social Security office. So, hey, you hang around, you're going to get put down. That's all it is for Manny. That's what I got to say about that, you know. We got some more comments here. Oh, Reggie says, boxing conversation with Reggie says, never. I'm a G. Yeah, I'm just ribbing you, Reggie, man. I'm just, you know, waiting for you to come in because I want us to talk about these subjects that we put down together, you know. So that's what that's all about. You know, I got to provide some entertainment, man, you know. But, yeah, man, according to Boxing News 24, I've been reading articles, man. And there's a lot going on out there with this, you know, this Fury thing. And, oh, if you guys haven't heard about Prograis and Hooker, you know, Hooker wants to bring him up to 147 to fight. They were supposed to fight at a catch weight, huh? And the catch weight was like 143 point something. The two of them were supposed to mix it up, and now it was supposed to take place back in April, but because of the quarantine and the pandemic, the fight got put on hold or canceled, basically. But now Maurice Hooker allegedly wants Prograis to fight him at 147, which Prograis was saying, hell no, I ain't gonna go. And I don't blame Regis Prograis, because he's trying to put more of a pressure on Prograis to do something uncomfortable for Prograis. But Prograis is at 140, and he's staunchly at 140, and that's where he wants to remain. You cannot blame him. You know what I'm saying? You cannot blame him, because if Prograis were to say, okay, well, let's do it at 147, he might say, let's go 154. Huh? He might be trying to string the brother along. So, no, man. Maurice Hooker, let's see you fight somebody and fight him where you're supposed to fight him at. Otherwise, just shut up, man. Huh? We just need to get back in there with that damn Taylor. Huh? He needs to get back in there and get his pound of flesh back. That's what I want to see. I had said that it was going to be funny for him over there overseas. But I do believe if he had just, done the things like I suggested, come outside of himself and go for it. Because they weren't going to give him a decision as long as that kid was standing at the end of that fight. They definitely weren't going to give it to him. P Boxing says, that Stormybman, did you watch the Watch versus Johnson? Absolutely not, because I was busy doing more interesting things, like a show called The Three Wise Men of Boxing. So I didn't catch that. And from the sounds of things with some other people out here talking, I didn't miss anything, which I didn't think I would. And it's not worth talking about. So that's what it is as far as Stormybman got to say about that. P Boxing. Boxing Conversation with Reggie On says, I'm 5 minutes from the crib. Okay. Just don't speed, brother. Them cops is out there, So, yeah, Top Rank coming back. Me mentioning them earlier, I said they're the farm club of boxing. Now, they can put these cards on, right, and kind of fill the airwaves. I don't know if they should do 2 a week like they doing, but for them to present a show in the vein of Friday night fights or Tuesday night fights, I'd be down for that. But you got to mix some good talent on there too. You can't just show us all these washed ups and soap-sudded dudes. We need to see quality fighters. Tuesday night fights, when the show was on USA, they used to have name fighters on there. They'd have guys on there like Trinidad and B-Hop and George Foreman and Riddick Bowe. Those guys all fought on there. Roy Jones and, Tommy Morrison. Tuesday night fights had some of everybody on there, man. And they gave us great shows. Throat's a little dry, fellas. That's what I'm drinking, water. So, but yeah, I don't think it should be 2 nights a week though. I think that it should only be 1 night a week so that we can enjoy the fights and have anticipation for building up for the next week. P Boxing says, yeah, absolutely. At Stormybman, you didn't miss nothing. I know, man. There are sometimes, you could catch something good, because I'll tell you, if they put fights on where it's guys evenly matched, like Journeyman, sometimes you could get a great Journeyman fight. That could be a fight of the month type deal when you put guys that are evenly matched and everything. But I don't want to see all of our named fighters who take part in the sport just, beating up on guys who have absolutely no shot against them. I don't want to see that. And I'm sure you guys don't want to see that either. You know what I mean? It's something that we could deal with, like if it's once every blue moon. But I'm going to tell you something. I think they're going to try to flood the market with some BS initially until fans start uprising. And I don't mean uprising like rioting. I mean like fans start really complaining. I don't want to see this. This is garbage or whatever. That's what it's going to have to take. You know, I can understand these couple of fights they had this week. You know, it was like guys getting their feet wet again. But Shakur Stevenson, the next fight out, it should be a damn title defense, huh? Against somebody in the top 10 for the belt he's carrying. And, you know, these guys like Wash and all of that, dude, go sit down somewhere because you're not going to beat the elite fighters, huh? So you might as well fight guys that are at your level or whatever. That's that. Bruce Gold says, oh yeah, I saw some tremendous fights on Tuesday Night Fights. Absolutely, man. Bruce Gold, that was a favorite show, man. More than any TV show or series or anything. If you were doing something and Tuesday Night Fights was on, you had to rush home to check the show out, man. You had to rush home and check the show out. But I'm telling you, that's what it's all about. You know, giving you something to like, oh, I'm gonna put this to the side because this is coming on. That's where we want boxing to get back to again. There's so many fights that are taking place right now that once you even hear the announcement of it, it's like you can almost do without it because you know it's not going to be much of anything. But the fact that, you know, you have a love for the sport, you know, that's what you still keep one eye on the sparrow, so to speak, because you're hoping that it's going to be good. But I am so sick of the mismatches, bro. I'm sick of them. Wookie Wook is out there. He says, salute OG. Salute to you, Wookie Wook. P Boxing says, as Stormybman, what do you think of Jared Anderson? Not much. He looks like a plodding dude. He was in there severely, you know, overmatched, you know, his opponent. And I don't know, man. I'm not high on a lot of today's prospects. You know, there's not a lot of teaching going on, you know. I'm not excited. Let's just put it like that. I'm not trying to slam the dude or nothing, but it's like he looked like some of the other guys early in the show, you know, to me. That's all I'm going to say. Lawrence Williams is out there. He says, what's good? What's good with you, L Dub? And also Lawrence Williams, we got to get together for talking about, you know, appearing on the show, man, In the Eye of the Storm. We got to get you ready for that, bro. Know it's down the line, but it's like, you know, we got to start getting together on a date and stuff like that, man, so we can present you on the show. Bruce Gold says, that's why Joyce Dubois is so appealing right now, a 50-50 fight. Bruce Gold's very, very much a point that I agree with, because a lot of people think that, you know, Dubois is just going to whoop up on Joyce. But Joyce being an Olympian and Joyce being able to fight and handle himself, Joyce being an older man, there are things. Joyce being a bigger man. It's like just being able to punch hard don't mean you can win a fight. Can you fight? Huh? Don't forget that Dubois against that Nigerian dude had to break out and break it down and start going for the kill because that dude hurt him. Huh? And as slow as you guys think that Joe Joyce is, as far as a puncher, he's still a big man. And if the punch hits you, he can hurt you. Huh? So, yeah, it's a fight I want to see. Regardless if it's 50-50 or 49, 51. I don't care, man. I just want to see the fight. Black Star Sports says, salute Stormy. And Curtis Anderson says, expect more rematches. Or mismatches, I'm sorry. Yes, I agree, Kurt. They're going to do it. They're going to milk it, man, until the fans really show that that ain't what they want. And right now, because they ain't got nobody in the arenas, they can put on whatever they want. You know, they can put on whatever they want. Black Star Sports TV says PBC need a weekly show on Fox. We were getting something similar to that damn near, you know, at least a couple times a month. But PBC is right. You know, they got a lot of fighters over there. Let's start putting them on. Huh? Lawrence Williams says, we didn't have any mismatches last night. And Curtis Anderson says, I want to see Loma versus Teofimo. Yes, sir. I want to see that fight too, Kurt. And I don't know what's going to happen with it. It's a competitive fight. The X factor is we don't know how much Teofimo will be able to handle a veteran like that. We know the veteran will have some tricks, but will he be able to handle the strength and size of the young man? So, yes, I think it's a good fight. I would like to see what can happen, man. I want to see these guys get in there and mix it up and do good things. I really do. I want to see all of that, you know. Let's see. What else we got here? P Boxing says, Stormybman, I think the Dubois and Anderson will be talked about in years to come. Really? And from what I saw of Jared Anderson, he ain't ready for no Dubois, man. He ain't. And Bruce Gold says he got a chin like George Chuvalo. Who has a chin like George Chuvalo, Bruce Gold? Let me hear who you're talking about there. P Boxing says Jared Anderson is only 20 years. Okay, you know. Hey. Bruce goes, Curtis Anderson says, only good fight was Lopez versus Correa. CMB 100 says, again, facts about Joyce and Dubois. Yeah, facts. You can sign off on that. Skinny Kenny has arrived and says, Jared Anderson looked a lot like the Frank Sanchez kid from Cuba, just much younger. And Bruce Goes says, Joyce. Okay, you talking about his chin? Okay. Hey, man, in boxing, besides heart, if you have a chin and that will and some skill, things can happen for you. Huh? Where's Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens? He said that he was 5 minutes from his house like 30 minutes ago. And the brother ain't came in yet.
I'm right here.
I don't see you. Where you at? Okay. All right, my fault. My bad. That's Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. He's right there. So, everybody. So, what's going on with you, Reggie?
Oh, man, just chilling, just getting to the house, man. Work kept me a little bit over time, man.
That's all right, man. You know what to do with the money. You know what to do with the money. So, make it while you can. Yeah, man. So, Reggie, of course, I opened up. Got a little time to backtrack and have you come in with what you have to offer on that. And I wanted to say also that we were supposed to be joined by D-Style Boxing, who had an emergency. So just keep D-Style in your thoughts, because he had an emergency situation and he couldn't come on with us this evening. But he was welcome, and he's always welcome. So thoughts be with him at this time. Yeah, Reggie, going back to the opening of with what's his name, Shakur Stevenson. You got something to offer on that, man? What'd you think, and how'd you see him and everything? How'd he look to you? Blah blah blah.
Man, the kid looked great, and like you said, man, noticeable change in his frame. The kid, he done bulked up. He's starting to fill out. Speed is still there. Agility still there. The kid was amazing on Tuesday. I didn't see anything flawless from him. The defense looked pretty sharp. Offense looked great. Transitions were good. Movement was good. It was necessary. He also showed when that guy was trying to rough him up early in the fight, he stepped on it, he thumped the old dude a couple of times, let him know if you want to play rough, we can bang it out. Old dude started to think about it because Shakur was hitting him with some pretty solid shots. He started to sit better on his punches as he's throwing them. He just couldn't get to the guy's chin based on the kind of leaned over, that little curled up, leaned over type posture he was in. The dude did a good job of covering his chin, but he found that perfectly placed body shot to get that guy up out of there. But he showed tremendous skill, especially in his off time. He showed his him seeking to get a guy out of there who, at a point in the fight, he seen that the guy didn't belong in there with him. It wasn't him going in here just trying to style on the guy. He boxed him, fought safe, kept himself out of danger, but also went in there with the intentions of stopping the guy. He did. So I liked everything I saw from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I noticed right away when he took his robe off, I said, oh, he done reimagined his physique there, because he didn't look the same like he looked in that last outing and everything. So, and I guess with the time off, they were able to adjust him, adjust his weight and strength gradually, because it's been a few months, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the proper way to do it. It's like if you just go into a fight and you see a guy popping out, veins bulging and stuff, it's like you have to question, hey, what's going on here? Like Canelo did when he went from that last fight until he fought Kovalev. I mean, how do you go all the way up to, 175? You don't have you got abs and everything bulging out, and you just fought a couple of months ago at the lower weight. Come on, man. That wasn't natural. And you can't tell me the man didn't have something coursing through those veins. But again, I digress, because Shakur was put in a position to look spectacular last night, and it was awesome. It was totally awesome. So, yeah, I thought that the guy came out. He had a game plan, but like I said, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds into that first round, he realized his parachute wasn't going to open. So that was about it for that. So, yeah. G Funky 84 just said he just got home too, Reggie. He was going to join us this evening as well. So what do you have to say about the other fighters that were on the card that night? Since you're here now, we can kind of talk about it, because I didn't want to take up the whole conversation talking by myself.
Oh, no problem. Who I would catch, I caught Sabril versus who was the guy? I forget the guy Sabril was fighting, the Olympian guy. He looked good. Once again, he was speaking about them putting more of an emphasis on him sitting on punches, delivering the punches accurately. And I like what I saw against for him, but not sure where that level of competition was. I know his debut, he was defeated. Came in this fight, looked pretty well against this level of opponent. But now to see where this guy goes following this, and see how well they push along. What's the name? I can't even think his name. Rabisi is who I'm talking about. I was saying some other crap. Rabisi's.
Yeah, Rabisi Ramirez. Yeah.
Yeah, Rabisi Ramirez moving his career along in the fashion they should, but not in the fashion to hold him back so they're fluffing up his record, but putting him in there with opposition that's just going to build him, sharpen him up. But he did what he was supposed to in his comeback to the sport. Got that guy out of there in impressive fashion, and he was stumping that dude. The heavyweight, who was that? Jared Anderson versus Langston. Early on, man, he was engaging in some unnecessary, back and forth type slugging with the dude Langston. Langston having the energy. I think Langston's issue was he fatigued real early in that fight, but inside the exchanges, he ended up tagging Jared as Jared was trying to exchange with the guy. So I think he needs to be able to tighten up on that and not get pulled in, because I think that was more just not him engaging, but him getting pulled in to want to thump it out because he's a fighter. So probably clean up some of that so that way he ain't someone that a fighter can watch him and see that you can pull this guy away from a game plan and get him into getting them into kind of these warring type fights. But he ended up cleaning that up, straightening it out, because he did get caught with a punch. But then he went back to boxing, and I like the way he throws his punches. He places punches pretty well. His attack to the body, I thought that was pretty good decision. That was a sound decision by him to go start attacking the guy Langston down to the body and ultimately winning the hell out of Langston. But along with that, I think he should have knocked the guy out based on how tired Langston was in there. So they'll work on him as he continues up. I think still young, 21 or 22 or something like that. So in due time, we'll see what he becomes. I don't want to crown him too early. I ain't gonna crown him, but he had a pretty good outing against the opponent that he fought.
Yeah, absolutely. G Funky, if you want to come on, just hop on, bro. You don't need that extra link. Or if you do need one, I'll send you a fresh one. Let's see. What about that heavyweight, Reggie? What'd you think of that dude? You know, that Guido. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, the other guys I ended up missing. I didn't catch all of them. I caught the think right at if it was Ribisi who fought first, or if it was Jared. I caught it right around. Those are the three fights that I saw.
Yeah, that cat was. I just felt like he was, he was so, but he was not. But he was in there with a guy that just, allowed him to crown him upside his head. I was like, this dude just laid his head out there, similar to like when Lennox Lewis fought Razor Ruddock. Razor Ruddock laid his head out there like that, like hit me if you can, and boom, that right hand crashed down on his head, and that was it. One thing about a heavyweight, you don't lay your head out there for somebody to just hit you, okay? Because they're gonna knock your skull off, huh? And that's what he did to that cat, man. What was that dude's name? Hainsworth, Don Hainsworth. He laid his head out there like a lantern in the night, So yeah, but P Boxing says Guido is not all that. Stormy B, man. Hey man, you ain't got to tell me, P Boxing. That was just another fight that they put on the TV, But I wasn't worried about that dude. Never, Never even thinking about him, I just was asking what he think about, because it's like the knockout was quick or whatever. But, no. No. I'll sick Dillian White on him, and that'll be all she wrote. Sick the liking on him, huh? Hey Reggie, also there was a something in the news this week that what's his name? Alexander Gavaskic has retired. Did you have any thoughts on that? I thought that when I heard that, I started laughing, because I was like, better be did a bigger job on him than I thought, even though I thought he did a big job on him to begin with. What are your thoughts on Gavaskis saying that he's retiring?
Man, it's crazy. It adds another notch to what's that cat Arthur Beterbiev, more than me saying farewell to Volchik, because he suffers one loss and talking about retirement, and it also shows into looking at how late these Russian fighters get involved in the damn game. He only has 17 fights after one defeat, but that defeat was almost something he sustained, almost what he delivered to Adonis Stevenson. But I don't know, man. That may add more to the invincibility at this phase when it comes to Artur Beterbiev, that he's going in here and he's retired a guy who looked like he was going to be got in there and really broke this guy down. Even when I kind of blame it on Teddy Atlas, because Teddy Atlas should have pulled the dude out the damn fight when he was ready to stop. Teddy Atlas sent the guy in there for 2 more rounds, and then the guy has to go to the hospital for he suffered a little bit of bleeding on the brain, so he had to sit in the hospital for a couple of days. But to me, it really shows how dangerous that dude Artur Beterbiev is. I'm a big fan of Beterbiev, just to go a little bit off of how he took a stance against, I think it was against the belt that tried to sanction a fight, making it mandatory that he ain't going to China based on what China was standing for as far as the persecution of fellow Muslims like himself, that he said they can have that belt. He ain't fighting over there, and changing the whole dynamic. So he put demands, put pressure on the game, because a Chinese investor took over the fight, and Arthur stood on his ground. So I rock with cats like Arthur, and the type of punishment he delivered on Volchik, who was an undefeated fighter, and this undefeated fighter is giving up on boxing, and they had to put in the article something about he wants to focus on business. I bet he does, but that's all I got on that.
Yeah, you could almost hear, as he was talking, the Patti LaBelle song playing in the background. I got a new attitude. You know, it's like, because he don't want no more of that smoke. I want to take a quick moment out to welcome G Funky 84 Boxing to the panel. What's going on with you, G Funky? Welcome to the Friday Night Chop Session. You're on mute, D Funky.
Oh, there we go. Hey, what's going on, Stormy? Thanks for having me on, man. Reggie, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, G-Funk? What's up, my brother?
Oh, man, just getting home, man, and doing some running around, man, but glad I could hop on for a little bit.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show, man. And we've been cooking a little bit on some different things, but since you're coming in right now fresh, what are your thoughts on hearing that Alexander Gavaskis has retired, or has considered retirement?
Yeah, well, the thing is this, man. Boxing is, it's called the hurt business for a reason. And the last fight he was in, he definitely took some punishment from Beterbiev. That was a sound beating that he took. So, I wouldn't, I don't mind these dudes stepping away. I mean, it's a sport where we know that there's some long-term effects that could, really do some damage to you in the long run. So if you could get out with all your faculties together, that's cool. Also he had the incident with Adonis Stevenson also. So, who knows if he's even mentally a fighter anymore, things like that could really take a toll on you. But, hopefully he's got some money put away and, he could spend some time with his family. This is also a sport that's very demanding, so you don't get to spend a whole lot of time with your wife and kids. So hopefully he's got some money put away that we can do that. And, there's always other opportunities in the sport. He could be a trainer or whatnot, So, just wish him the best of the luck, whatever it is he got planned in the future.
Well, I'll say this, man. I want to offer my take. Yeah, he could have some residual feelings about the whole thing with Adonis Stevenson, but I clearly saw during his fight with Beterbiev that Beterbiev was a problem that he could not solve. And he wanted to check out. And Teddy did not consider what his fighter was facing. Now, let's just slow this down for a minute for conversation's sake. You could see that Beterbiev was coming on like a wave, okay? I will liken it to if you could see Julio Cesar Chavez in his prime when he began to beat these guys that he was looking good against and everything, how he would wear them down like a wave. He was just coming and coming, and these guys were retreating. They tried everything. They tried to get their shots in and everything, but Chavez had a great chin. So it's like he just began to overwhelm them. And Gavoski, at a couple of points in the fight, turned away from him. He looked like he wanted the ref to step in, and it didn't happen. Then when he went back to the corner, he was telling Teddy he didn't want to go back out there. And Teddy Atlas, as he's been prone to do, is giving him one of his rah-rah speeches and everything and talking about the mental of this and that, and we're firemen and this and that. And Gavoski was like, man, I don't want no more, damn it. Can't you see? And he sent him back out there for more punishment. And what happened is, I actually believe that man beat the fight out of him. That's the way I saw that. And I saw it that night. It's not like now, since it's been the quarantine, he's had a chance to think about it. The only thing he's had a chance to do is run that ass whooping in his mind over and over and over again until they got to this point. And he fucked like, no, okay, I ain't going. And Teddy Atlas had already put it out there that if Alexander came back, he may not be with him. Well, good riddance, because you're the one that sent him into the buzzsaw to begin with. You've heard us say it so many times before. It's better to stop a fight one punch too early than one punch too late. And Reggie already mentioned that the guy had bleeding on the brain, or if that was G-Funk, one of you guys mentioned that. And the thing about it is, that's terrible. That you got a corner man that can't see. When I'm looking at it, I'm at home in Chicago looking on my TV, and the guy don't want no more. And I'm ready to throw the towel through the TV screen. Teddy is pushing him back out there. Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you. Get out of here with that. Dude, this ain't a movie, Teddy Atlas. It ain't a movie. This is real life. This man is like, do you know how tough it is for a man in a macho sport like boxing to stop the fight himself? Because he don't want to be labeled a quitter, right? So why didn't Teddy pick up on what was supposed to be there for him, like Virgil Hunter did for Amir Khan when he was fighting Terrence Crawford? And Amir Khan and Virgil hadn't even worked together a long time. But Virgil recognized this kid's had enough. I'll save him from himself, And it wasn't like Amir was going to continue, but it's better that, Virgil took I'm stopping the fight. So it's like, okay. But when you put a fighter in a position like that, and he got to relive that in his mind, he's got to convince himself, well, am I tough enough for this? Or is my trainer or whoever's in my corner, can I trust him that if I'm hurt, if I'm ready to go, that he can save me? I don't want to die in here. Yeah, we said at the press conference, I'm the champ and I'll die in the ring for my belt. But you don't really mean that, especially when you got loved ones at home and stuff like that. Dude, it's bravado talk. But Teddy Atlas was like, there's no cut. There's no timeout. He's like, get back out there and show him that we're firemen. And the guy was like, dude, I'm a boxer and I'm getting my ass whooped. Stop the fight. They damn near got into an argument in the corner. So it's like, now Teddy's like, oh, he's damaged goods. You fucking damaged him. I've watched fights like this. Meldrick Taylor against Julio Cesar Chavez. Donnell Nicholson against what's his name? Andrew Galata. You know, Emmanuel Stewart, guilty of the same thing in that night. Kept pushing Donnell out there. Donnell was ready to go. He didn't want no more from Galata. And it ended up kind of funky. He got stopped, but Emmanuel should have said, oh, my man hurt his hand, he hurt his elbow, his shoulders out, like they did for Sonny Liston against Cassius Clay back in 1964. So it's like when you're watching fighting, you watching boxing, you can see these things taking place. Where is it that these trainers, man, and I keep saying it, you've heard some of the other OGs say it, these trainers out here are crap today. Eddie Futch saved Joe Frazier from himself in the Thriller in Manila. Ali had just come off that 14th round, hitting the man in the eye. He was blind in one eye and couldn't see out the freaking other one. Eddie Futch was like, Joe, I got to stop this. You can't see the punches coming. And Joe was like, no, I'm ready to go back out there. And Ali, meanwhile, was in the other corner saying, cut these gloves off. That man is crazy. I don't want to go back out there no more. Joe Frazier had no idea that Ali was quitting in his own corner. So when his trainer, Eddie Futch, who cared about him, stopped the fight, Ali, go back and look at the fight. Ali was surprised when the ref came over and waved the fight off. Ali looked and he stood up and he held his hand up in victory, but he had a look on his face like, thank God. Because he was quitting in his own corner. Dude, your trainers are there for multiple reasons, but not just to push you out on the ledge. So if this man is quitting, retiring, I can't blame him. He took a beating. That wasn't Teddy in there taking those punches. That was him. And if you watch Bitterbeef and how he punched, that dude punches like Ernie Shavers or something for light heavyweight. So the man knew he was outdone. And remember, it was like several rounds before it actually happened that he was ready to give it up. And Teddy is steady washing the mouthpiece, shoving it back in his mouth. He said a couple of rounds before he got stopped, he was like, I don't want to go back out there, man. And here's Teddy Atlas. Listen, good for him. He can find something else to do. He's young enough and everything. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. Because, dude, when you see a fighter hit that wall as a trainer and coach, as you're his chief second, you got to do something, man. This man needs to go back to his family. You don't do like what you like it's a freaking movie. He wasn't going to come back. He didn't have the opportunity for, a miracle. He was being pounded into the cement. You guys got anything else on that?
I agree, man.
I want to say something about that whole Teddy Atlas is also in that article. It spoke about Teddy Atlas not willing to return to training the guy, and I can see if it's one thing Teddy's worried about his health or whatnot. But Teddy seems to have a habit of switching up on fighters after suffering a defeat. Because our article also pointed out he did the same thing to Tim Bradley. Now, when Volsic came out victorious against Adonis, Teddy Atlas praised this guy and spoke so highly of how great he was. He suffers one defeat. This guy turns on him. Ain't willing to go back and train the guy. Not going back in there to tune up on things. This guy's too much of a trainer who puts himself. He's almost as bad as a ref who tries to put himself too much involved in the fight. Teddy Atlas wants to be kind of a world recognized, I don't know, not even just a trainer, just a world recognized type figure. He's seen the same thing as a commentator. Him making it too much about himself rather than the fight, adding too much of his toxic commentary into the boxing game. It's just fighters have to learn to stay away from parasites in the sports game or in the supposed teaching game of boxing like Teddy Atlas, because these dudes are unloyal. They have zero cares for a fighter, and it showed with him sending Bosick out there in a fight that should have been stopped like 2 rounds before it was eventually stopped, maybe even 3 rounds. But that's all I got. Teddy Atlas is a punk.
Absolutely. Go ahead, G Funky.
Yeah, man, that's a part of a trainer's job, man, is to, see these kind of things. And, I know that it's a slippery slope, because we've seen many a times where guys, they look like they're out of it, but, the trainer, motivates them, or sometimes we'll see guys that look like they're getting beat up, and then, the trainer looks like they're ready to stop it, and then they get pissed off at the trainer. It just really all kind of depends on the situation. Teddy should know, if that's his fighter, he should know that, by body language, if he's not telling him verbally, hey, I think I'm done here. It's his job to stop it. Like you said, Stormy, sometimes these fighters, they need to be safe for themselves, man. And Atlas is a guy who's been praised for his motivational speeches and in fights in the corner and things like that. So maybe he felt he could work his magic again, but damn all that. If a guy is looking like he's ready to quit, and he's, you gotta do something too, man. Like it's your responsibility as a trainer to protect the fighter also, not just train him, not just motivate him during the fight. If he's looking like he's getting ready to quit or something, these are just questions you gotta ask. Like, hey, do you want to fight? You seriously want to fight? If not, I'm throwing in the towel. We've heard that plenty of times too. So, there's a time and a place for all that type of stuff. And Atlas, I think he really should have known better, especially being the man's trainer. You got to know those sort of things.
Yeah, real talk, man. I'm going to take it to the chat for a moment, going back a little bit. Xavier, the boxing nerd, is out there. Salute, Xavier. Good to see you again. He says, Gavaskic is making a smart life choice to me. Talking about making smart investments with the money he's earned is good. Absolutely. Jupiter B says, I was hoping to see more from Gavaskic, but I understand it. This is a dangerous sport, and no shame in stepping away on your terms. Absolutely. And Trick Nolte says that Stormybman, after talking with John Scully, they asked Golden Boy to send the contract so Canelo can fight Bitter BF. Still to this day, a contract has not been sent. That guy is a monster. Yes, he is. And Skinny Kenny says Gavaskic is old for a guy with 17 fights. A lot of these guys turn pro so late, they don't have time to adjust or change or come back from a loss. Yeah, that factors in as well. Philip Carl Roberts says, I think it's a good move from Gavaskic. He's a good boxer with nothing to offer an opponent in terms of titles, etc. Probably hard for him to find an opponent now, and he's too dangerous for most boxers. Let me say this about what you just said there, Philip Carl Roberts. Personally, I think that another aspect of that is this. Having bleeding on the brain is a bad sign, man. Huh? You had bleeding on the brain, but you lived and you came out of this and you didn't have to be comatose or anything. And, but it's like, it's not like you're in the clear, because a couple of more good blows and it could be fatal. It could be something, brain bleeding is not something to be taken lightly.
Absolutely. And if I could add something to that, Stormy.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When you have a bleed to the brain, one thing about the brain is that we know it's just a magnificent thing that we have as our brain. The problem is with it is that when it gets damaged, like with a brain bleed, it doesn't recover. That's one thing that it just doesn't recover like other parts of your body do. But once a part of your brain is damaged, it's damaged for good. The good thing about the brain is that you have so many cells inside of your brain that, you could train part of those cells to make up for the part that's damaged. But it doesn't recover, man, and it's hard for some people to do that. I mean, we see it all the time with people who suffer significant head trauma or strokes or something like that. They're able to regain functions by using other parts of the brain to make up for it, but it's very scary, man, because it does not heal itself once there's a brain. Once it's damaged, a bleed in the brain, that's it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, G Funky, and I'm glad you have that, and I know that you have a little more to look at with that because of things that you are experienced in knowing about. But this thing here should not be taken lightly as far as, again, how Teddy Atlas handled the situation. Why was it that he was not able to see that his fighter was done? Huh? He gets on his podcast and he talks critically of people and their circumstances and fighters and this and that. Why could not he see that his fighter was in a trauma type situation, and the trauma was happening from within? He was conflicted. He wanted to stop. He told his trainer and coach he wanted to stop, but he was still pushed out there.
Reeks of incompetence for sure.
Yeah, but let's backtrack. Remember, he was in the hospital for some time after the fight because of the bleeding on the brain and everything. But he could have easily been Adonis Stevenson right away, right? Just like the same situation. Why I talk about these trainers like I do, dude? Damn that. I don't want somebody like that overseeing me. I don't, because he don't know what he's supposed to be looking at. Hell, Mark Breland and them, they threw that towel in for Deontay Wilder, didn't they? Even though he had discussed prior to them, don't ever do that in my fights or whatever. They say, damn that, champ, live another day. Threw that towel in there, didn't they?
Yep, and nothing wrong with that either, man.
That's what I want. I don't want somebody standing over a coffin. He was a true warrior. No, I want to be standing there with you for the next time saying, well, we got to rebuild. This is what these guys, I'm telling you. And then they want to take a certain percentage of your purse. But you got a family, you got children, you got a life outside of boxing. That's how you earn your living. But you don't have to die in the ring if somebody can stop it. Same with these stupid refs that, like Reggie mentioned a moment ago, a ref that want to impose himself. I had said this when we did the chop session after the Tyson Fury Wilder first fight, and this guy made this decision yelling at Tyson Fury and everything. He was clearly knocked out. It was the 12th round. You can wave that fight over. They both did damage to each other and everything in a good fight. Wave it off. Let Tyson live to fight another day. But I had said this. I said, if Tyson Fury got up because that ref let him continue, and he went home later that night and slipped into a coma from bleeding on the brain, he was knocked out. He could have been bleeding on the brain anyway. If he goes into a coma, who do they blame? Not Wilder, because Wilder was fighting just like Fury was fighting. But I blame that freaking Jack Reese, because he said it himself out of his own mouth. Oh, my decision that I made a choice that was good for boxing. Really? You holding a man's life in your own hands, and you think you making a great choice for boxing. Sit the hell down somewhere. You got to go out there and look at it like you want to do the best for boxing by making sure these guys can go home to their families. Tyson's eyes were fixed to the lights above. They were blank. He was unconscious, blank. And he's yelling in his ear, 6, 7, he gets up because he's yelling at him. He woke him up. He did everything, and I made jokes about this. He did everything but damn put the damn electroshock treatment thing. Then you rub him like this, in, clear, boom, give him an electric shock, wake him up. He did everything but that. 9 times out of 10, most referees look at that, see that man laying like that. It's the 12th round. You make an assessment and say, oh, no, this is over. You know, it's over. You count a few numbers and then you realize, oh, this is it. And even if he got up, you look at him. You looking in his eyes. He was just knocked unconscious. I'm sorry, I got to stop this. That man is a hell of a puncher over there. There was still a lot of time left in that round, and he can hurt you. He can end you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the way I see it. I mean, come on, brothers. You guys come into this discussion with me and let me know what your thoughts are. Reggie, what do you got to say? You there, Reggie?
Yeah. No, I got no more to add on it because I agree with everything that you stated.
No, I shifted to that Fury Wilder thing, though, and Jack Reese injecting himself in that situation, and it could have ended fatally for Fury.
Oh, yeah. You speaking on the ref thing, but I can't. I hate refs. I hate refs that do that shit so bad. Even when it's these old fights that I know a conclusion to, a ref's action or overaction in the fight, or adding new ripples and new rules to a fight, it pisses me the hell off. I can't stand people that interfere with a fight or don't go about doing the proper thing. And like you stated, his actions could have definitely been one that caused great consequence to Tyson Fury after being knocked out like that. And if Wilder could have just landed the proper punch on that guy and dropped him again like that, who knows what Tyson Fury would be today? Who knows if would have been a guy healthy enough to return to boxing just based on Jack Reese letting an unconscious man wake up and get up off the canvas. But lucky it was the proper knockout. It shut everything off and he's able to get up. Yeah, I hate refs like that. And that was like even with yesterday, I was pissed off watching the who was that? Jesse Magdaleno fight versus that guy Vicente. I thought Robert Byrd was injecting himself too much into that damn fight, and it was pissing me off. The disqualifying of the guy, which I don't think were intentional low blows. Some of the punches I'm still questioning based on, I never remember seeing him establish what's high, what's low, being that Jesse's shorts looked a little bit high, punches being placed right on the where the name is embroidered on the shirt, on the shorts, and those are being called low blows anytime Jesse reacted. Jesse did the same thing, the same kind of reaction to a body punch when Dogbo hit him. I went to rewatch that fight yesterday, and I see him at one point in the fight reacting the same way. So he was taking away some of these body shots that were being placed by this dude. The one knockdown where the guy hit him after he low blowed him. He did low blow him in the fourth round with that one shot, low blowed him and then punched him with a shot right after that. But taking away a point, don't see it. I think the ref should have been in there sooner. The ref did a lot just to destroy and ruin that fight, and it ended up being too much about the ref. Robert Byrd is another ref who's trash. Like you said, the decision from Jack Reese was trash. Many of these refs, man. Kenny Bayless, he does trash stuff in the sport. Richard Steele was always a guy I couldn't stand. And even watching MMA, there's referees over there who I can't stand to watch. I forget what's the brother name who with the dreads who does reffing over there. He does the same ish, injecting himself in fights to ruin things. Mergliala does the same thing. A lot of these refs just do too much. And some of these refs get so atrocious in fights, I wish it can be a point where a sanctioned body really does something and remove a ref and bring in the goddamn alternate even during the damn fight when they see a ref that's on some BS, because it's almost as if, was this ref paid off? Let's clean this shit up, get this ref up out of here, let's replace him with somebody who may have not been.
Yeah, absolutely. G Funky, did you have any final thoughts on that, or anything I had said at the last, or anything to offer on that particular subject before we move forward?
But, the referee, his job is not only to enforce the rules, but to keep these guys safe. Now it's a difficult job, man. I mean, because every situation is different. So it really all depends on what you're trained to do is to again enforce the rules and protect the fighters when they have to. Also, like we spoke earlier about Teddy Atlas, it's also the trainer's job to do that also, because we've seen several times where certain referees will just let things go way too long than what they need to be. I would is a guy who I've seen let fights go on, I mean, far too long. Steve Smager, another guy who had a history of doing things like that. But it's difficult because sometimes we see guys come back. I mean, we have some classic moments in boxing where guys look like they're out and could have been possibly stopped by the referee, but then the referee lets it go on, and then something spectacular happens. I mean, it's hard, man. But at the end of the day, it should just be about enforcing the rules and make sure nobody's cheating, and also to protect these guys when it's necessary. So yeah, I'm all about fighter safety. I know that it's a difficult thing to do because it's a sport where people are being punched in the head over and over, punched in the head and in the body. But if there's any way to protect these guys, they should be definitely doing that.
Yeah, it's something to be said. I'm going to go to the chat for a moment real quick, catch up on some comments. Bruce goes, he said, it took Frazier years to forgive Futch, if ever. Jupiter B offers, also Gavoski probably envisioned him being Adonis. Lord knows what was going on in his mind. Hey, you may be on to something. He also says that Bruce goes, which is why I give Frazier so much respect. He was a warrior. And Bruce Gold says that Jupiter B, old school warrior. Fact. Jupiter B says Atlas makes everything about him. He wants to be on the winning team and turn on you in a second. I've seen it myself. Jupiter B says, I was happy Ruiz didn't go with him. Xavier the Boxing Nerd says, just look at some of Gavoski's early fights and you have Teddy Atlas commenting on his fights, and later you have him training him. Trick Nolte says, Teddy wants to take all the credit by being vocal in the corner. He is bad for the sport. Never liked him. And Jupiter B is offering, I don't think Atlas cares about his fighters. Alex Santos is out there. Salute. Alex, how you doing, brother? He says, Teddy Atlas needs to fuck off to the sunset. The guy is a fool. Jupiter B says, Jack Reese absolutely put Fury at risk. Fury was KO'd and woke him up. Shaking my head. Yeah, I feel that way. I always did from the beginning. Jupiter B says, and he kneeled down to scream in Fury's ear to wake him up. Yep, if you notice, when a guy is down, the ref will be over him, but not get intimately close to him like Jack Reese did. That was a decision and a determination that he made. Being that close, you can look and see the man's eyes were fixed to the lights above. There was no movement. He wasn't blinking. He was unconscious with his eyes open. He was supposed to wave that fight off. And I'm not saying this, to save what happened in the second fight. No, I'm saying it when it was live. That was my assessment of the circumstances, that fight should have been waved off. And I said it. You could go back on my archives. When it took place, I said if Fury had gotten up that night and went on after the fight, didn't go to the hospital or whatever, and went home and went to sleep and slipped into a coma or something because he may have had bleeding on the brain, which was unchecked, okay, we'd be talking a whole different thing. And it's about protecting the fighters. That's what I was trying to say. Bruce Gold says, Ali said when Joe Frazier clocked him in the 15th that he was out till his ass hit that mat. Fury was no Ali. P. Boxing says that Stormybman, I'm surprised Jack Reese didn't splash water on Fury to wake him up. Yeah, man. Jupiter B says Reese absolutely cheated Wilder a KO victory and risked Fury life to do so. Skinny Kenny says Reese said he was sure that Wilder was getting the decision and he was doing all he could to let Fury go the distance. Jupiter B says that Skinny Kenny right, which is injecting himself into the fight, like Reggie said, and risking Fury's safety to get the outcome he wanted. Yeah, Reese must have had money on the line, bro. Skinny Kenny says Bird needs to retire. He totally loses control of every fight. I think he used to really get involved. That was his style. But now not fast enough to get involved like that. And Reggie's telling people to smash the like button. Derek Bailey is saying salute Stormy B man. And Jupiter B and Alex Santos. Yes, sir. So we can move on from that, fellas. But it was just something about that. And I'm glad the conversation didn't turn negatively toward, Gavoskit, but positive. That if he's going to move away from the sport, so be it. Let him live a nice life with his family and whatever his investments are, or whatever he's doing with his life going forward, and stay the hell away from Teddy Atlas. That's what I got to say as my final word on that. So I had also talked, both G Funky and Reggie, earlier in the show about Maurice Hooker and Regis Prograis. They're supposed to have a fight back in April, but because of the pandemic and the quarantine and everything, that got put down or scratched. But they're talking about, again, the fight being on. But this time, the fight, Hooker is asking Prograis to come and meet him at 147. Now, the fight in April was supposed to take place at a catch weight of 143 point something. So what are you guys' thoughts about that? And Regis Prograis has already told him no, he ain't going to 147. He's got work to do at 140. But what are just your thoughts, G Funky?
That sounds like a fantastic fight, man. If it was to happen at 140, both of these guys are on the rebound from losing championship fights to what's his name, Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. So, I would like to see that fight. But I kind of anticipated that Hooker would be moving up soon. He's just, he's got such a big frame. You can almost kind of see it coming. He can't really stay at 140 for too long. So, I'm not mad at him if he can't make the weight no more, because he is so tall. But it is kind of disappointing because I think him and Regis Prograis, man, that would be a hell of a fight, man. Both those guys are really good, throw a lot of punches, and man, you got me all excited, man. But it doesn't sound like it's going to happen. But we'll see what happens. I hope it does, though. But it doesn't sound like it's going to. But it would be fantastic if it does.
Reggie, what are your thoughts?
Man, I'm not too sold on Hooker. I thought the way that he fought, he showed tremendous flaws when he fought Ramirez. That stoppage in Ramirez, and then when he comes back for that next fight, he took a whack ass fight. That opponent didn't give anything to really show us anything, or to really test to see where he was coming off that loss to Ramirez. I think the thing that caused some issues against Ramirez was the pressure of Ramirez, relentless pressure, and that's the same thing he's gonna get from Prograis. He's gonna get at a very high volume, and I think Prograis may be a much harder puncher. Hooker, that jab, he leaves that jab out there too long, and I think Ramirez exposed that. He leaving that shit out there too long for Prograis. It can be night once again for Maurice. But I'd rather see it at 140. He's trying to drag Prograis up there to a weight that he doesn't belong in. If Hooker can't make the weight, well, I don't think Hooker can survive at 147. And I hate to count him out, man. That's not my style to discount. To say what a fighter can do, that ain't me. But him against Prograis, I already can see where he has a little bit of lapse in his style, and that's dealing with guys who are pressure fighters who also will punch with you. They deliver a lot of high volume type work, and the pressure is nonstop. And I think he'll have an issue against Prograis. I'd rather see it at 140. Prograis is called after some people at 147, so hell, I don't see why not then. Now that when I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, my thoughts are this. If he doesn't want to fight at that catch weight that Prograis originally agreed to, the 143 point something, remember those pounds add up when these guys are trimming down and cutting weight. So to bring him up to the next weight class where Regis is not ready to do that at this time, it says more about Hooker and what his plans are. If you want to go on up there to 147, go on up there and challenge one of them fighters that's at 147 and stop mucking about, huh? You got some guys up there like Jaron Ennis that's looking for an opponent. You got Virgil Ortiz going up there and mix it up with them guys. Stop trying to pull somebody up that's ready to continue his legacy where he at and where he's prime. So, to hell with Hooker. And like you said, when he against Ramirez, he didn't look that good. He looked like, a guy that was ready to be, possibly waiting at the gates or something. So, no. Let Regis go on and do his thing. Plus, Regis got, he got some unfinished business with certain fighters out there. So, that's what I see. And that's what I would like to see happen. So, stop trying to pull somebody. You moving up, go up there with the bigger boys and deal with them, as Joe Frazier used to say. Don't be trying to pull somebody else up out of there that ain't ready to go up there. There's something in the bag for everybody. And stop messing around. Huh? But yeah, that's what I think about it. And Regis does well at 140. He's comfortable there. He's not, ready to outgrow the division or anything like that. If anything, this time off has probably made guys, wish that they could get back in the gym and everything so they could be ready and stay within fighting shape and stuff like that. But Hooker want to go up there to 147. There's plenty of smoke up there at 147. Put your damn fireman's hat on. That's all I got to say about that one. G Funky, I want to ask you. I know you do live streams from time to time, and did you have something that a subject or whatever, or even a comment about the fights that have taken place this week that you would like to throw out here so we can have a discussion on?
Yeah, I was happy. Obviously, being a boxing junkie like myself, I was happy that the sport's back. That we got some live fights to watch and talk about. Tuesday night's card was a bit dull for me, but it was as expected. I mean, looking at the lineup, we had a lot of showcase fights, which was top ranks. That's always their style to showcase their guys like that. So it went as expected. So I wasn't too upset as some people were. I just kind of knew that was going to happen. But, it's good to see the young guys like Shakur Stevenson and Robesi Ramirez get in there and do their thing. Thursday night's fights, though, I thought that fight card was a little bit better. The Sanchez versus I can't remember the other dude's name, where they both got Mondragon. Yeah, man, that was a good fight. Both guys go down in the first round. That was crazy. I mean, sometimes we see that, and it's man, I like seeing stuff like that. That was a real good fight. Also, Adam Lopez, with Buddy McGirt, it's a little shaky at times, but I feel like he deserved to win the fight. He's a pretty good fighter. Wouldn't mind seeing him in there with some of those guys in that division, the top guys in that division. He had a crack at Oscar Valdez and did pretty good against him. So, he's got himself back in the win column, and, I like to see what they're going to do with him after that. And then, Jesse Maldonado, that was, it was going good, and I like that he kept himself composed with all the fouling going on, all the low blows and stuff. Normally when you see a guy get hit low that many times, you'll see that guy usually respond back with a low blow. And that wasn't the case. I felt like he really kept his cool pretty good, which is, I like seeing that in fighters, being able to keep their, not let other fighters get into their head and, stay steady, stay on the game plan. I thought he looked pretty sharp. His timing was really good with that right hook. He dropped Vicente a couple times. But, the guy just kept hitting low, man, and the referee didn't have a choice. He warned him multiple times. He took multiple points from him. So, if I was in his corner and I felt like he had a shot to win the fight, I would just be telling him, look, man, just forget the body for right now. Try to stay away from that area, because anything that you throw low, they're going to, it's going to get caught by the referee. But, it sucks that it ended that way, and it kind of took a little bit of steam out of the card for me for it ending that way, because I was feeling like, man, this card is much better than Tuesday night's card, but then that happened. But overall, I think that Thursday's fights were better, a little bit better matchups, and we got a lot of more fights coming up next week, man, so I'm pumped up, man. I'm glad that it's back.
Yeah, absolutely. Reggie, what do you have to offer on it? I didn't see those fights on Thursday because, I was preparing for our show that we did last night and everything. So what are your thoughts on the card and the fights, Reggie?
Lopez, I wanted to check Lopez out because I thought he fought a great fight against Valdez. Wanted to see what he looked like, but I got in coming back from work as well. I catch that fight. Then which fight did I catch on that one? Matter of fact, the Magalone versus Sanchez fight is what I caught. And that was a very, very good fight. Real good battle between those two. I think it was a 4-round fight. So it was a 4-rounder. They didn't have too much time to work with. 2 knockdowns in the first round by both fighters. Really, really good fight. And I wish they make these things 5-rounders so that way they don't have to end this thing in a draw. I know if somebody wants to come out with the victory, I wish it can end up as a 5-round fight, so that way you can lessen the probability of getting a draw out of these things. Going into the main event fight, I thought Magdalene, Jesse came out, good movement, moved around well, probably like the first 3 rounds or so. Towards round 4, I've seen a change in him. I've seen him backing up, laying on those ropes, fighting from off that corner. He started to show a little bit of fading to me. And at that point, I thought he was going to get knocked out. And old dude was just looking to deliver that right hand. He looked like he was just trying to deliver some power. Jesse's punch output started to decrease. That movement slowed down a whole lot. He was holding a lot. The guy Vicente, he throws a punch that I was waiting for ESPN to show a replay. They never showed a replay to that punch. But I think that punch landed once again to the stomach. That's when something happened. The ref breaks it. Jesse's doing all that, kind of squeamish type thing, but making it as if it's a low blow. So it's questionable. I didn't see if it was low, but now they continue on. What's the name doesn't too much give the guy a warning. He hits Jesse low. It was the way that they were bending down, the way the guy bolos that uppercut type shot he's trying to throw to the body. He did hit him low, and I question that one. That punch was low. It hit him right on the cup. And as he was bending over, turning away, reacting to the low blow shot, the dude's swinging on him just as, trying to come in to grab him. He punches him in the head. So that's where he gets up, take the 2 points. I don't know about the 2-point thing. I could have took 1 point. But then also in that same round, he throws another punch that he's throwing towards the body. I think that might have hit a little bit on the outside, almost kind of like the Amir Khan type shot that Crawford hit Amir Khan with. It hits the guy right there. Sees it, takes another point from this guy. So I think he took took 3. Did he take 3 points in that round? I believe it was in the same round. He took another point from the guy, putting him back 3 points in this round. Then we go on. Now, Jesse had 2 good knockdowns against the guy as well. 2 perfect counter punches landed on Vicente. Who Vicente is just easy to figure out, being that he would never throw that left hand. He just throw out the left hand. All he was dedicated is trying to throw that right hand, which is his power hand. We have where he hit him with another shot, but all these low blow, what they're calling low blow shots, were questionable. I'm looking at the shorts. You can't even see the guy's belly button. Those shorts are pretty high up. A square shot right on where the name is. To call that a low blow shot, I think the ref should have evaluated that in the beginning, and I didn't see that unless I missed that, where he says what's high and what's low. And the only punch that was low was the actual low blow, where the guy scored that foul right after hitting him low. I just seen Jesse showing signs of kind of fading out in that fight, and that's where a little bit of that ring rust stuff started to show. Cardio rust started to show, and it came out. But he got out with the ref doing all that low blow calling. But I don't think the guy should have stopped the damn fight. I think Robert Byrd was being overzealous with taking away points. I didn't like that shit. That shit really pissed me off to see Robert Byrd deducting points like that. That wasn't cool. I don't think the shots were that intentional. Some of the shots to me looked like they could have been placed right on the body. Robert Byrd's not in a position where I think he can see how the punches landed, but you should have gave the guy more of a emphasis on warning about it. I seen Magdaleno hit the guy low as well. Robert didn't say one thing, but then again, Robert's out of position to see Jesse land some of those low shots. But I just didn't like the way that Robert Byrd went about deducting points. I never seen that many points deducted in the fight, and then to disqualify a guy in the final round when the crap could have went to the scorecards, but Jesse's probably going to win it anyway. It was too many points taken away, plus the 2 knockdowns that Jesse scored against the guy. But I don't know. The ref just ruined that fight for me. But Jesse really has to work on his cardio, because he really started to fade in that fight. He only fought probably 3 good rounds, about 3 good rounds, and then he started doing a lot of that holding and stuff. But that's all I got on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The one thing I want to say about the fight cards going forward, and I know G Funky said he's looking forward, boxing is back, but we definitely have to be careful about what they're feeding us, man. As I stated earlier in this show, Top Rank is the farm club for professional boxing, but we can't get too excited about them putting on matches that are like mismatches and not quality fights. And they will try to milk it. Believe me, they will. We can't allow that to happen. Allow our interest in the sport to be so acute that we don't look at what they're doing. You know what I mean? We want some of them matches that these guys have been tweeting about and threatening, and when boxing come back, I'm whooping you, and you. We want to see those fights. Not just these guys with a bunch of names. I don't even know half the names that was on the card from last night anyway. I'm like, who is that? You know what I mean? Where the dudes who've been talking stuff? Let's see them, So that's how I feel about it, man. And it's like, I'm going to stand on that. These guys don't start mixing it up, man. Hey, click, turn it off. I ain't going to be sitting around here watching this stuff and just everybody with fake bravado and running around like they bad and they ain't even did nothing. Guys who were like, okay, Shakur Stevenson. Shakur is like 22, right? Before you know it, he's going to be 29. We need to see him fight somebody before he make it to 29, huh? And I remember when Joshua got that title that he picked up from Prince Charles Martin. I think Joshua was 23 going on 24 at the time or whatever. Joshua was like 30 now. Who he really fought, huh? He done lost already, to a guy that nobody expected him to lose to. So it's like, that's what I'm saying about the sport. The sport will pass you by before you know it. And then we'll be talking about other younger prospects and everything who are going to come up and repeat the same damn cycle. Get the hell out of here, man. I want to see some competitive matches. What do you have to offer on that, G Funky?
I agree, man. For someone like me, I'll watch any boxing card that's available to me, but I'm not like most guys. And I agree with what you said, man. With sports in general being shut down for several months now, and then boxing comes back, like I feel like they really missed an opportunity here to create more fans by putting on good fights, but it was typical business as usual for Top Rank. They want to showcase their guys, which is what they've always done, unfortunately. But I feel like they really missed a good opportunity here because people I know that don't even watch boxing, they'll watch, like, the last time I seen some of my friends watch boxing was like Pacquiao Mayweather. And they were texting me about fights coming up. They were like, man, I need to see some live sports, man. Like I'm just, I'm going crazy without it. I mean, these guys were pumped up for it, but they missed an opportunity, man, by putting on showcase fights instead of putting on some competitive fights. And like you said, these guys like Shakur Stevenson, yeah, it's we're getting there. It's getting time for him to start throwing him in there in the mix with a name or a nice veteran, to establish himself. I agree, man. It's time, and he's got a belt, so we got to hold him to that standard,
Yeah. How about you, Reggie?
Yeah, what was that? Give me the question one more time.
No. The fact that, now that the sport is back, we shouldn't get too excited about them putting on these minuscule fights. We want to start seeing some rumbling in there. These guys did all that tweeting and everything during the hiatus. We want to see some fights. A couple of cards like what they put out this week, and then it's time to start moving on. We don't want to just be watching farm matches. We want to see the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? If I'm promising you steak, but all you smelling is fried bologna, eventually you're gonna be like, hey man, where the steak at? You understand? And that's what I'm saying about boxing. So that's basically, we're asking, what are your thoughts on that?
I think we're gonna keep getting these cookie cutter fights because I don't.
Tell it like it is, Reggie. Tell it like it is.
Yeah, I don't think boxing should have returned. I really think boxing should have been held back until what's happening is this country ain't dealing with this pandemic that we're dealing with, and now it's just going to get worse, and it's going to end up shutting things down again. For one, these fighters aren't getting proper training. You're kind of seeing it with some of the fights, especially with the opponents they're selecting for fighters. They aren't getting the proper sparring. They're not getting the proper cardio type training. They're not getting a lot of things because a lot of things are shut down. And now you're dealing with greedy promoters that are just rushing to get something put on TV for them to make money for themselves and throw it out to the casual fans who they think they can just throw any old bone and they'll be happy with it. I'm happy with watching these old ass fights, to be honest. I'm happy going back, rewatching fights, even if I've seen them before. I treat them as if I never saw them. There's a lot of fights I've never watched in my life that are classics that I've always heard being spoken of, and then getting the time to really sit back and watching them, talking about them in the chat and sharing thoughts on these old fights. But I think boxing just returned way too soon, and it's really showing how soon it is just based on what they're throwing at us. And then watching fights with people not in the ring is some weird ass shit. Like, that shit is weird. And even hearing the fighters speaking about how different it is, and I don't think too many of these fighters are going to want to sit there and doing that. And especially if you go in there and you put on a magnificent performance and you don't hear one reaction. Some fighters get thrilled and are driven. You land a a perfect punch and the crowd goes ooh or ah, or you may get riled up by hearing this fighter's fans going off and you want to shut them up. And those are the things that just motivate a fighter and can push him. You got guys in here who's just, I've seen it in the MMA where you see fighters in the MMA who just don't have that extra gear to push because there's nothing behind to motivate or push them. It's almost like being in the gym and sparring. In the gym, in sparring, you find where a fighter may just quit, may want to take off, not being pushed fully like they would with other motivating factors. There's no real motivating factors in there except you're gonna get a paycheck, but it may be a smaller paycheck. I just don't think this is the top quality that we're gonna get based on not even just the visuals or the matchup, boxing matchmaking and all that other crazy crap. Is that these fighters aren't in peak conditioning or peak form. It's just things are just too jacked up, and I think this virus thing is going to come back because as a country we doing some stupid stuff. But I'm cool watching this old shit.
I hear you, man, and there ain't nothing wrong with digging into the archives, bro, because there's a lot of legendary stuff there to choose from, to relive, to enjoy for the first time. I mean, that's why we've given you that credit of saying like, hey, you know, it's a great thing what you've done, presenting that aspect of as another folder opened up on your channel, because that's good stuff, man. I've seen a lot of the fights that you've been, but it's like for people who've seen it for the first time, it's educational because you actually get a chance to see what real quality is like as far as the matches, as far as the personalities and how the events went, you know, learning the rules, how the rules have progressed over the years and changed, some for the better, some for the worse. So all of that is a part of that process, and it's a great thing, just being able to go back and check it out for yourself. So, hey, man. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and get some final words because we're coming to the end of the show here. And we'll let you go, G Funky, and we really appreciate you stopping by. I know you got in a little late, but that's all good because you're welcome. D-Style has joined us in the chat. He couldn't make it live, but it's like, hey, man, D-Style, much respect. We can catch you on the next one, bro. So what you got to say with your final words, G Funky?
Yeah, my final thoughts are just want to add to what you were saying about these dudes selling all these wolf tickets on Twitter, you know, going back and forth. It's time, man. The sport's back. We got live fights happening, so it's time to get in the ring and see what time it is, you know. So I don't want to hear any more excuses from these dudes, man. Let's get your asses in the ring and let's find out who can get the job done, you know. But yeah, man, sorry I had to come on a little bit late. I was out running around and it took a little bit longer than I anticipated. But, you know, I'm always, if I'm available, man, I'm always willing to come on and talk some boxing with you guys. I love it. Thanks for having me, Stormy. Thanks to everybody in the chat, man.
Absolutely, man. You're always welcome here, bro. Reggie, you also had a chance to come in a little later this evening, but give us your final thoughts and words on the show. Anything that you wanted to say, you know, before we cast the rod out.
Oh yeah. My final thought. I want to give a final thought to Derek Beatty's comment about Dana White, man. I gotta speak on that one, man, because I have a deep disgust for Dana White. Don't like him at all. But I think the comment was Dana White makes those dudes fight. I think Dana White slaves them guys into fighting, and now you're starting to really see a fallout behind Dana White's tactics of underpaying fighters, putting them in a position where they have to fight to earn a check for survival rather than paying these fighters really for what they're worth. You have a company that the guys in the suits have been able to generate a $4 billion sale by once again underpaying, and this is kind of the capitalistic way. capitalistic mindset of business types like that. Underpay the fighters, make them work hard, present present a product or present a brand that is fashioned a certain way, to look a certain way, underpaying these guys, putting them in a position where they're young and hungry. And the guys who don't put any effort of training, sacrificing, being away from their family, not one damn, bit of energy into doing anything but putting on fights, saying you're going to do this and that. That's the easy work. That's the real easy work. And then you cash out, but you got these guys not being paid nothing. Now he's hearing someone say about John Jones, they never earned $1 million from a fight. As a fight person, I think that's ridiculous as hell. Fighters working off of $50,000 fight bonuses if they are doing this or they're knocking out. So you kind of crumbing these guys along while you're making huge profit. Now you got to where fighters are telling Dana White to open the books. Other fighters trying to warn these younger fighters about understanding your worth and your value. You've seen the whole same thing with Jorge Masvidal starting to speak out about having to do the tough work for the UFC, while other guys who may look a certain way come in there and get everything handed to them with minimal effort. It's kind of thing you always see throughout society, almost like some glass ceiling type crap. But to say that he makes these guys fights, I don't think it's that way. I think it's these guys being fighter. There's no plan B for a lot of these guys. They're there. They have to try to do things. Now, when you get people who are in position looking for title fights and want to fight champions, they're not getting these opportunities based on who knows what's Dana White's formula for doing that. But it's all falling apart for Dana White, where his stars are starting to kind of have a revolt against money being the issue. And that money situation is an appropriate situation with Dana White, because those MMA fighters look across and look at young Devin Haney's and Ryan Garcia's, and these guys are making millions of dollars and shit. And these guys who have put in a lot of the legwork for building the UFC for what it was at one point, not to make $1 million on a fight, to be the names, is BS. But Dana White can bring a damn wrestler from the WWE to come juiced up, pay him $2 million, bring a chick they hyped up like she was some great thing and can beat up Mike Tyson and Mayweather, give her a quick check when she ain't do nothing to build that organization. So it's just like he picks and chooses who's going to make money, who's going to just be kind of the worker bees in that organization. And it's coming to a head to where these fighters are speaking out. You got huge movements of creating the what is that, like an Ali act over in the MMA. That's starting to pick up a whole lot of steam, and especially you get stars. Now you got Conor McGregor speaking about retirement, all sorts of things going on with Dana White. But Dana White's a scumbag. He's one of the worst things you can deal with when it comes to the whole financial aspects of what fighters should get and what they don't get. But that's all I got. But thanks for bringing me on once again, OG.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure to have you, bro. We're just getting our feet wet again here with this thing starting to resume. So I'm sure we'll have more next week to add to the mix, you know. But I want to take a moment out and thank everybody that came out in the chat. You know, we had some great comments out there. Some of them I wasn't able to get to because we were cooking very good on here. But for everybody that's out there, know that you still have to be safe and take it easy. You know, be with your family in a good way and everything. And we will slowly right the ship. But don't be too quick to jump off into that deep end of the pool. You might need a life raft. So, but yeah, everybody that came out to watch tonight, we're going to say thank you for that. You know, this has been a great conversation for the Friday night chop session. We got a chance to talk about boxing and its return to the ring. So, you know, for my co-host here, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens and G Funky 84, we're going to say good night. Peace to everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. Peace.